The Quiet Empire, a script on domestic soft power. They sold us a story about legitimacy, that real businesses require lobbies with marble floors, that credibility lives behind glass doors with your name etched in serif. The data tells a different story entirely. The most defensible businesses being built right now are happening in rooms with toys on the floor, not despite the domestic setting because of it. While legacy institutions hemorrhage trust and overhead costs compound, a parallel economy has been constructing itself in the margins of daily life. The living room is no longer a retreat from the market. It is the market's new center of gravity. This is not about bringing work home. This is about recognizing that the home was always an economic engine. We simply lacked the language to articulate its mechanics. What we're witnessing is not women juggling roles. It's the emergence of a new asset class: domestic soft power. The collapse of the corporate cathedral. Let's examine the structural failure first. The traditional business model was built on a thesis of visibility. Your credibility was measured in square footage. Your seriousness demonstrated through commute sacrifice. The implicit contract: surrender your time and autonomy, and we will grant you the appearance of legitimacy. That contract is dissolving, not slowly, rapidly. The office promised focus. It delivered interruption architecture open plans designed to maximize supervision, not output. It promised community. It delivered performative collaboration, where presence mattered more than production. The economic model required enormous fixed costs: real estate, utilities, the entire apparatus of looking like a business. Meanwhile, the home offers something the corporate world cannot manufacture: structural intimacy with real human needs. You are not distant from your market. You are the market. You experience the pain points in real time. You understand desire and frustration and aspiration not through focus groups, but through lived expertise. This is not a limitation. This is proprietary intelligence. The living room economy operates on fundamentally different physics: low overhead, high trust, direct feedback loops. No conference rooms where ideas go to die in decks that nobody reads. The empathy arbitrage here is the mechanism that makes this possible. The concept I call empathy arbitrage. Arbitrage, in economic terms, is exploiting a price difference between two markets. You buy low in one, sell high in another. The gap is your profit. Empathy arbitrage is the spread between what the market thinks it understands about human behavior and what you actually know from proximity to real life. Large corporations spend billions trying to understand why people make decisions. They hire consultants, they run surveys, they build personas with names like Busy Beth or Thoughtful Tom. They are approximating. You are not approximating. You know why the laundry basket becomes a storage system, why the dinner table doubles as a desk, why convenience isn't always about speed. Sometimes it's about reducing decision fatigue at 6 p.m. when 3 people need 3 different things. This knowledge is not anecdotal. It is ethnographic research conducted in the laboratory of daily survival, and it cannot be replicated by an AI model or a quarterly report. The companies that will dominate the next economy are not those with the most capital. They are those with the highest resolution understanding of human experience. That understanding does not come from data dashboards. It comes from being embedded in the chaos. Your disadvantage is your moat. Soft power, as strategic leverage. We must reclaim the language here. Soft has been weaponized to mean weak, emotional, unserious. This is deliberate linguistic sabotage. In geopolitics, soft power refers to influence achieved through attraction rather than coercion. It is the ability to shape preferences, to change what people want. This is not weaker than hard power. It is more durable. Hard power, the corporate version, operates through control, budgets, hierarchies, compliance. It works until it doesn't. Soft power operates through resonance. It builds trust instead of enforcing obedience. It creates pull instead of demanding push. When you build from the domestic space, you are not sacrificing authority. You are choosing a different form of leverage. Consider, a corporation launches a product after 18 months of development, 4 layers of approval, and $200,000 in sunk costs. You test an idea on Tuesday, get feedback by Thursday, iterate by the weekend. Your decision-making velocity is a structural advantage that no amount of venture capital can purchase. The home is not where you go to make do. It is where you go to move fast. This requires a cognitive shift. You are not just a mom with an idea. You are the CEO of a distributed operation with zero rent and complete sovereignty over your time allocation. The fact that your office has a crib in it does not diminish your authority. It clarifies it. You have chosen to build wealth in a way that does not require you to abandon everything else you value. That is not a compromise. That is strategic sophistication. The architecture of a quiet empire. Let's talk infrastructure. If the home is your headquarters, it must be treated as such. Not with corporate cosplay, no need for a reception desk, but with intentional design that signals to your own nervous system. Professional work happens here. This is capital expenditure, not consumption. The difference, consumption, is buying something to feel better temporarily. CapEx is investing in an asset that increases your productive capacity. A coffee at Starbucks is consumption. A tool that eliminates friction from your work process is Capic. For deep work, the kind of thinking that builds intellectual property, I recommend noise-canceling technology. Not because you need silence, you won't get it, but because the ability to control your auditory environment restores a sense of agency. I use the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra headphones. They're not inexpensive, but the cost is irrelevant compared to the cost of fractured attention. When you place them on, you are not escaping. You are entering. You are signaling to yourself that the next hour is not ambient time. It is protected time. For strategic planning, the work of thinking about your business, not just doing tasks within ITAs, the tool is analog. I keep a Leuchtturm 1917 Master Notebook in a 4+ format and a Lamy 2000 fountain pen on my desk. Digital tools are excellent for execution, but strategy requires a different cognitive mode. Writing by hand forces you to think at the speed of comprehension, not the speed of typing. The notebook is not for tasks, it's for asking better questions. What would this look like if it were easy? What am I optimizing for revenue or freedom? Where am I building leverage? These are not productivity hacks. They are instruments of clarity. Your environment is not neutral. It either supports your ambition or dilutes it. Choose accordingly. The reframe here is what I need you to understand at a cellular level. You are not staying at home. You are headquartered here. The laundry is not an interruption to your real work. It is the proof that you are building a business that does not demand you outsource your life to participate in it. The noise is not chaos. It is the ambient soundtrack of a fully integrated existence, one where you are not split between the person you are at work and the person you are everywhere else. The traditional path asked you to fracture yourself, to be professional, you from 9 to 5, and reel you in the gaps. That model is not sustainable. It was never meant to be. It was designed to extract maximum output while minimizing what you could ask for in return. You are designing something different. A business architecture that does not require you to abandon your humanity to access your ambition. This is not easier, it is harder. It requires you to hold complexity that most people outsource to institutions. You must be strategist and operator, visionary and executor. You must think in quarters and in hours. But the reward is sovereignty, not the appearance of success. Actual control over how you spend your finite days. The empire you are building is quiet. It does not announce itself with press releases or ribbon cuttings. It accumulates, compounding small decisions, each one aligned with a vision that only you can see. You are not waiting for permission. You are not asking for a seat. You are constructing the entire table from scratch, on your own terms, in a room that smells like coffee and occasionally like chaos. That is not limitation. That is freedom. The next economy will not be built in innovation districts or co-working spaces with kombucha on tap. It will be built in living rooms and kitchens and spaces that were never designed to be headquarters but became them anyway. The question is not whether you have what it takes to build from here. The question is whether you can see what you've already built and call it by its real name, not a side project, not a hobby that might become something someday. An empire, quiet, deliberate, and entirely yours. You are not just staying home. You are headquartered here. Disclaimer: this content is for educational and informational purposes only and does not replace consultation or assistance from a professional. Always consult a qualified professional for any questions related to finance, business, or investments.